Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everybody. Actually, good afternoon. It's a beautiful Tuesday, 1 o'clock Central Time. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Woohoo!
No, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Who's that? Who said that? Kelly? That's because you're in Houston, and you know all the traffic keeps you from hearing me.
Yeah, it caused us to have tinnitus.
Okay, so yesterday was a holiday. Did everybody take off?
Yes.
Good answer.
I did actually. First day I feel like I actually took off in I don't know how long.
You know, I do a mastermind class on Monday. One of the homework assignments was that you had to take a day off other than Saturday or Sunday and then report back to what you did. It was kind of crazy what kind of responses we got from that.
Yeah, I worked all weekend, showing houses and everything all weekend. I was busy.
Okay, so last week we talked about going to these different sources that I told y'all about, and I want y'all to report on how many leads you were able to get through the searches. So we're going to start with Holly first. Holly,
Okay.
From last week's searches, how many FSBO leads did you get?
Well, I have two different markets because I have Missouri and Kansas.
Okay.
And there's a lot of crossover because our state line runs like right through the middle of our city. So sometimes stuff like ends up going on both or whatever. But between the three different search options, I had upwards of about 5,000 leads.
In 1 week?
Yeah.
Holy cow. 5,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a month, we're looking at 20,000?
Yeah.
Okay, time for you to build a team. Okay, next. Nick. Good morning, Nick, with your red hat on and the beard. Did you have a beard last week? Oh, my God.
So I did the cubic solutions thing.
Yeah.
For the entire state of North Carolina, and it came up with 1,271. But that's not a real number because I have to weed out. There's still some for rent. There's a lot of investors in there. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be weeded out. And I started to do that, but it takes so much time. So I really don't have an actual number other than the fact that, about 1,200 popped up.
Okay, so 1,200, let's just say 1,200. And then you had renters and investors. Let me ask you a question. Do you think a renter will ever sell that house? a guy who owns a house up for rent.
Sure.
So what do you think would be a good way to find out if he wants to sell his house?
Call them and ask.
Bingo. What about an investor? Do you think an investor wants to do the investment route 100% of the time? Or do you think there could be a small percentage that would actually want to put it on MLS?
Yeah, there could be. You never know until you
What do
call
you
and
think would
ask.
be a good way to call investors?
And there's a lot of new construction in there as well. I'll figure out how to tweak it to get it a little bit more dialed in.
Okay, so you got about 1,200.
Correct.
Okay, next we have Greg Thomas. Greg, were you able to pull any leads from last episode?
Yeah, actually, I did. I'm just getting caught up from last week because I had the audio problems last week. And then we thought we were going to get hurricane last week, but it went the other way. So I ended up with 50.
Okay. All right. 50 is more than most people get in a month. So we'll go.
And I just literally did this like an hour ago.
Okay. Way to go. Nothing like waiting till the last minute, right? Okay. Next. Greg, I'm going to pick on you because we didn't see you last week. So you're today.
Yeah, I bailed out after that audio problem.
Today is your day for my guinea pig.
Well, I'm doubling up on them today, so.
Okay. All right. Next, we have Latoya. Where are you at? Latoya is probably going to watch the recording. Denise, you're next.
I honestly, I've been caught up with college stuff, so I haven't been working, so I didn't do my homework. So I get an F for today. Yep, that's about right.
You get the big loser.
That's right.
Kelly Owens.
I didn't do mine either, so I'm pulling them right now.
Kelly, what the hell?
I know. Well, I had closings and I had a bunch of other stuff happen that I just didn't do it. I know. I know. I'm doing it now though.
Robin Young. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning. I tried. I had trouble getting a list like that to generate. I tried both the Google Alert. The only thing that I came up was some basketball star selling his house in Indianapolis. And then when I tried the other one, the Craigslist, I got half a dozen, but I was just curious because all of them have that disclaimer, please do not contact me or solicit me. Do we just ignore that?
Let's back up. Let's stop right there.
Okay.
They're all going to say that. Every single Craigslist ad is going to say, do not contact me. So here's my question to all of y'all, because you're going to see this. Let's pick on Kelly. Kelly, if you saw a house that was for sale for $200,000 and you knew that you could buy that house if the seller would sell it for $50,000, would you buy that house if it was in decent shape?
A house that's valued at $200 and I could pick up for $50, I'd buy two of them.
Okay, so that means that realistically you are a buyer.
Correct.
So Robin, you got to think of it a different way. You potentially could be the buyer for every single for sale by owner listing. But you don't know unless you call them and ask them, how much would you really sell it for? There's only one way to find out. You've got to call them and ask them. And what's crazy about these for sale by owners, you can think of the craziest things to ask them, and they think it's normal, and they'll answer. My favorite question that I ask them is, how much do you owe on your house? Now, no seller in his right mind would ever tell you the payoff. But if you ask them for sale by owner, 9 out of 10 times they'll give you that answer. So don't look at these people as you got to stay away from them because they're on the do not call list or don't solicit them. If that's your way of thinking, get out of the for sale by owner business completely. Stay away from it, which leaves more for us to call.
It just exposes them when they put themselves out there with their information. They're giving you permission to contact them. I mean,
That's straight.
in my mindset, I mean, that's where and Robin, I struggled with trying to set up like all these different perimeters. So I feel your pain because you have to really kind of tweak it. And I ended up like on Craigslist, I ended up with like 15 different ones because I realized as I was doing them that I needed to adjust different things on there. But if you just Google how to do that, it gives you step by step on where to go and what to do on it. Cause I had to go back and do that because I didn't write all the notes down when we were doing it. So I had to just go back and go step by step over it. So
Ollie, I'm gonna have to give you a timeout signal.
Okay.
We got more people to cover in 50 minutes, okay? Not trying to cut you off. We just got a lot to cover.
no.
Kiara, how many did you get?
Well, I had some issues. I did do my homework. I was trying the cubics and I was coming back with maybe 3 or 4 hits. So I went to Craigslist and it would not let me do for the whole state. I had to do it individually.
Well, now,
So
remember that instead of it doing for the whole state, what you might have to do is if it's running too many results, you might have to break it down per sections of what Craigslist will allow.
Right, that's what I ended up having to do. But I was averaging about 20, 21 a day.
21 a day.
Yeah.
7 days a week. Help me out here. What's the math on that one? 240?
Yeah, about 240.
So it'd be about 1,000 in a month.
Right.
Okay.
And I average on Zillow about 13 a day.
Okay. Stephanie Burdett.
I came up with 1,843.
How do you feel about that?
So great. That's a lot of phone calls to make.
So a buttload of calls to make. Jerry Lambie, where are you at, Jerry? There you are. Jerry, how'd you come out?
I have 280.
280 for the week?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Okay. Teresa Morris something, the Italian person. I can't pronounce her last name. Teresa, where are you? She's not here. Okay, we'll catch up with her. And then Toma Price.
Yes, sir.
How did you come up with?
About 3,000.
Woo! For the whole state?
Uh-huh.
Where's Kelly? Kelly, you and Toma should have about the same results because she's also in DFW area. You're in Houston, she's in DFW. You're both running the whole state of Texas. That should be about what the number is. JR, you're new with us. You didn't come last week. Way to go, winner. Did you watch the video from last week?
Yeah, I did. I did the homework too. Came in about 800 in all West Texas.
Woo! Whoa. 800 of West Texas?
Well, yeah, I did Amarillo, Amarillo, Midland, Odessa, El Paso, and I just ran the search.
So you're not licensed in the entire state, only in West Texas.
I didn't want to, put more than I had to on my plate.
Why?
I had a lot of closings last week.
Okay.
I got the homework done.
So how's the balance in your checking account?
It could always be better.
Okay. So your license says that you can sell in the entire state of Texas, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So you need to go after the whole state. And I'm going to talk about today how to cover the whole state because I think that's real important. I got a referral last week from a person who's with the same brokerage that I am with, And the reason that I got this referral is because she's licensed in Texas, but she said that she's not licensed in Richmond, Texas. So she wanted to give the referral away.
Did
And
she
of course,
say she's not licensed, or did she say that she's not comfortable? There's a difference.
no, she said she's not licensed in Richmond.
Okay, so it's not the same one I sent you, right?
No, she's not licensed in Richmond. I'm not going to argue with you. If you tell me you're not licensed and you've got a $270,000 listing that you want to give away, then I'm so sorry that you're not licensed. I'm sorry that the state excluded that one city in your entire licensing. Have a nice day. So we're going to talk about why you want to run the entire state. Now, this is going to be hard for some of you to grasp because you've been trained that you're supposed to gather your listing presentation, put a sign in the car, put a lot box in a car, get your CMA together, which is probably paper, and you're going to drive to your listing and you're going to go look at the house and you're going to spend about 2 hours with the seller and you're going to say stuff like, oh, that's a lovely bedroom. That's a beautiful kitchen. And then you might not get the listing. You're going to get back in your car. You're going to drive home, take the sign out of your car, put it back in the garage or by the side of the house, and you've just wasted 3 hours of your life that you will never get back. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the entire state of Texas. I live in Florida. I'm going to get a listing in El Paso. And I'm going to get the listing. I'm going to call the seller, the for sale by owner, because remember what we said last week. The for sale by owner does not care about me. All he cares about is how much you're going to sell it for, how long will it take to get it sold, and how much am I going to walk away with at closing. They don't care about anything else. So I'm going to email him the listing agreement, seller's disclosure, information about brokerage services through DocuSign. All he's got to do is click and hit submit. Soon as he hits submit, that listing is coming back to me. I'm going to sign my part. Then I'm going to call J.R. Fletcher, who's in El Paso. And I'm going to say this to J.R. J.R., I've got a great deal for you. Here's the deal. I've got a listing that I just got in El Paso where you live. I need you to put this listing in your El Paso MLS. I also need you to take one of your signs, put a sign in this listing, put a lot box on, and go and look and see if it needs pictures. And JR's going, well, whoa, hold on. Why am I doing this? Because I'm going to put you down as the co-listing agent because we're with the same brokerage. You're going to get 0 commission on the listing, but you get 100% commission on any buyers that you pick up from your advertising. JR, would you take that deal?
Yeah, all day.
All day long. So doesn't matter what the price range is, you would take that deal.
Let's do it.
How long do you think it'll take you to do all that?
Hour.
So it's going to take you an hour to put up a sign, put up a lot box, take pictures, put it in your MLS, and then send me a copy of everything.
Yeah, I could do it if it's close by the office.
And how many buyers do you think will come through with your sign in front of this house?
Everyone who wants to buy in the neighborhood, hopefully.
How many do you think it'll be?
Shoot, I would say about 3 to 5.
Okay, so what do you think the sellers, I mean, the neighbors are going to think when they see your sign in that neighborhood?
That he's an agent.
Now, do I care about your sign? No. All I care about is my listing commission. And so what I'm saying is, as long as y'all have this mentality that you've got to drive to these appointments, you're missing out on a bunch of business. I mean, a bunch. I told my girlfriend that my goal right now is to get a new listing every day. That's my goal. One per day. That's 20 listings per month. If I sell 50%, and I'm talking about some bad numbers. If I sell 50% at an average of $4,000 per commission, that's $40,000 per month. That's about $500,000 in 1 year. Now, is it possible to get one listing per day if you don't have to drive to their house? I'm going to pick on Kelly Owens since she didn't do her homework.
Hey, I'm pulling the numbers right now. It's at 4,200.
4,200.
Well, it's still going.
It's going to be going for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Kelly, do you think you could do that process?
Oh, yeah, I could.
You're a type A just like me.
Yeah. It'd be easy to do.
So if the seller says, well, I want to meet you in person before I list my house, what are you going to tell them?
I'm going to let her know that I will try to make an arrangement with one of my business partners. I'm out of town right now, and that we can schedule a video conference, or I can have a business partner come by and visit with her.
Okay, now that's a good idea. Here's what I do. When they say, I want to meet you first before you list my house, this is what I do. Remember what I said last week, and I want y'all to understand how important this is. Everything somebody tells me, I'm going to turn it around and ask them a question. Asking questions is your lifesaver. So I'm going to say to the seller, well, if I come out there and we meet, what kind of questions do you think you'll have? And you know what they're going to do? They're going to tell me what their questions are. Well, how long do you think the house will sell? How much do you think we'll walk away with? I mean, they're going to ask just dumb questions. So at the end of their questions, I will tell them, okay, now that you've got all of your questions out of the way, is there anything else you want to know? No. Perfect. I'm going to send you the listing agreement by email, seller's disclosure, information about brokerage services. It's going to be through DocuSign. You sign it, hit submit. When I get it, your listing will be taken care of. And that's how I get around them saying, I want to meet you in person. Okay. Ask them a question. Remember, this whole 5 weeks, you're going to hear me talk about being in control by asking questions. That's one more way that you will take control, because they're type A. They want to take control away from you. You've got to turn it around and take control of the situation. Any questions on that? Stephanie Burdett, I'm going to pick on you now.
Why me?
Because here's how you come across. Can I be honest?
Go for it.
You come across to me as somebody that's kind of meek. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you get a type A personality who's in your face and they tell you, I want you to come to my house, what are you going to tell them?
I don't know. What should I tell them?
Were you here 5 seconds ago?
About asking the questions.
Yes. How's your dog doing, by the way?
They're all good.
Okay. Stephanie, here's the situation which you got to understand. Everybody has a personality. You've got a different personality than everybody else here. I've got a different personality than everybody else. I would think as far as personality goes, me, Kelly, and Kiara probably have the most similar personalities out of everybody in this whole group. Your personality is different. So what you've got to understand is that things that you say to them are offensive to you, but they're not offensive to that for sale by owner. That's going to be the hardest part for you to get over, is that you're looking at this like, I'm going to offend them if I say the wrong thing.
It's a great point.
Stephanie, do you think you could call me a butthead?
I could do that.
How would you feel if I told you to call me a butthead for the next 4 weeks?
I think it was silly.
Hey, Kelly, if I called you a butthead, would you be offended?
No, not at all.
Kiara? Do you know why we're not offended? The three of us aren't offended?
Because your
Because
personalities.
we don't care if you call us a butthead. We really don't. Is that true, Kelly?
Absolutely. I've worked hard for the title.
I don't care either.
Okay, you go, Holly. So, see, that's the biggest struggle that y'all have to get over. So, remember in the first class, I talked about there's 2 reasons why people don't call for sale by owners. Number 1 is not having enough leads. Well, we proved just by what I heard today that you now have enough people to call. Would y'all agree with that? So,
Yes.
really, the problem is now not enough people to call. Now the problem is, how am I going to find the time to call all these people? Is that true?
I'm
Kelly,
having to weed
how
through
enough
this
time to
list.
call all these people? Kelly,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question. I was looking through this list.
how are you going to call 3,800 people?
I'm recruiting my mother actually to help with that, and I also have dibs on a VA to help call. My concern is ensuring that I have the right script for them and that they don't have a very strong accent, because calling and saying I have a potential buyer and not sounding like you're even in the country is going to be an issue.
Write this down.
Okay.
Internships.com.
Okay.
Internships.com is a website that college students mostly subscribe to. What they're doing is they want to be an intern and they want to work for somebody so that they can put on their resume when they graduate that they've been employed. Some of these interns will work for free. Some of them will also work for a small amount of money. I know a realtor who's with the same brokerage that I'm with. She got an intern to do free work as her admin, part-time, virtual admin. She's in Texas. This admin was, I don't know where, Mexico, I don't know where they were. It was an American person. But they worked for free, and she became so good as her admin, as her unpaid, that this realtor started paying her a very small percentage on each closing. That turned into a full-time job for the admin, and the admin moved to Dallas and now works full-time for this realtor.
That's awesome.
So what I'm saying is, internships.com, you can run an ad as an employer and post 2 different ads. Well, you could actually post 1. Free work. Anybody that wants to work for free, let them be your virtual assistant.
Love it.
Now you've got somebody that can help you with these phone calls. Now, problem number 2. We covered problem number 1, having enough people to call. You've got enough people to call now. Now the problem is, what do you say? So for the next 4 weeks, is that right? 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever we got left.
Or
We're going to talk about what to say. Remember, in the first class, we talked about on the initial call, your goal is to get their email address.
Yeah.
So the only thing you care about when you call them is just to get enough information about the house to let them see that there's some sort of interest so that you can get their email address and start them on an email campaign. So here's how you're going to structure the email campaign. Once you've got their email campaign, you're going to start the email campaign to start tomorrow. So the first email that goes out is, thank you for talking with me today. I forgot to ask you when I was on the phone yesterday, if I bring a buyer, will you pay my commissions? Short, to the point. Now, the reason that your emails need to be short is because of this thing right here. It's called a cell phone. When I get up in the morning, before I turn my computer on, I check my emails on my cell phone. So the way I've got it set up on my cell phone is that it only shows about 2 sentences before I hit delete. If your emails are longer than 2 sentences, they're probably not going to look at your email. They're automatically going to delete it. So keep your emails short and sweet because they're probably going to look at it on their cell phone. Now, when that for sale by owner responds, they're probably going to ask, what is your commission? And then my answer is going to be 3%. That's it, 3%. 3%. Not thank you, not anything else, 3%. Why am I doing that? Remember, for sub-owner personality, to the point. Don't give any fluff. I'm not asking you to tell me how you made the clock. Just tell me what time it is. Okay. Now your emails will go into their inbox because they replied to your email. The next email is going to go out 4 days later. 4 days after if I bring you a buyer, will you pay my commission? These emails are not going to talk about listing their house. It's going to talk about different things like what to do to make sure that your buyers are qualified. Are they getting pre-approved? You might ask that question. Are your buyers pre-approved before you let them in? You want to engage them to make a conversation as if you were doing an instant message with them on Facebook. So make sure that you're always asking a question, even in your emails, so that they'll respond back. The next email goes out again on the 4th day after that, after the second one. So your emails are going to go out every 4 days. You're going to have to be creative and do it based on your personality. Your email campaign should last about 7 months. That's a long time.
Going every 4 days, always?
Every 4 days.
Okay. Is that something we need to come up with all the content on that, or is that something you're going to help us with?
Yes, because I don't want to start sending mine out and then everybody start duplicating mine and we're sending the same emails to the same people and neither one of us are going to get success at all.
Okay. You're just going to give us basic ideas of the kind of things.
Yes, just keep them short and sweet and ask a question.
Okay. And helpful to their process, like, do you have them approved on lenders, blah, 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 those simple kind of things.
Yeah, and get somebody outside of real estate to look at these emails. And remember, the goal is 2 sentences. That's it. No more than 2. If you put more than 2 or 3 sentences, you're over talking by email. So the next thing you're going to do is every Friday, you're going to go through your broker's sold listings. Look at MLS and pull up the sold listings that your brokerage sold in your area. Now remember, if you're covering the whole state, I hope you are, you're going to pull up listings that sold in the entire state. Create an email that goes out every Friday that has pictures with a sold price and days on market. So picture, sold price, days on market. Don't put the address. They don't need to know the address. And hit about 6. And send that email out every Friday to all of your for sale by owners. And at the top of the email, it's going to say, hold on, at the top of the email is going to say recent activity in your area. It's not going to say that you sold them because that would be a lie. But you are allowed to advertise your broker's sold listings, which might not be yours.
Mm-hmm.
And when they receive it, they're going to think you're the guru. You sold 6 houses this week. And you didn't tell them you did. They just assumed because you put these on an email that you sold them. It's all about perception.
So how do you get access to the entire brokers list in the state of Texas? Like I'm in Houston Association Realtors. I don't have access to Dallas's MLS.
You're on HAR?
I am, yeah.
Do y'all allow listings from out of state?
There are some international ones, but I guess I can go on to find MLS through HAR and use that.
Kelly, it's probably not going to matter because you're not going to put the city or the address on that email.
Well, if you're putting a house, if you're using a house on stilts as a recent activity in your area and you're sending it to someone up in the El Paso, that's going to be a dead giveaway. You're full of shit. You're full of it.
You also want to let them see that you're not specializing just in one area, that you cover the whole state.
Okay.
My emails, because I'm not licensed in Florida, include Texas and Florida because my girlfriend sells in Florida, I sell in Texas. So when we talk to a for sale by owner in Florida, what we're talking to them about, for me to get around the licensing laws, when I call a for sale by owner in Florida, I don't call them about listing their house in Florida. I call them about listing their house on the Texas MLS. Once they've agreed to that, then I tell them, well, before we can put it on Texas MLS, it's got to go in Florida MLS first. And then she gives me permission to put it on the Texas MLS. So, had a question and I had to stop him. Who was that?
It was Tracy, me.
Tracy, okay, talk.
Yeah, me. So why are you saying only pull our brokers? Because I think that content from perhaps all of the MLS or perhaps geographic specific would be more relevant to these guys.
Well,
why are you saying only XYZ broker?
You can't advertise other brokers' souls to people
without their permission.
So my market area, you can. You just have to say in itty bitty writing that, you know, under a microscope you can see it. So some markets you probably can.
Okay, hold on.
You just have to pay attention to the market.
Stop 1 second. What's the reason for these emails on Friday?
Well, you're only trying to tickle their brains and get them to contact you, right?
But what's the reason that I'm sending these emails with these sold listings?
To give you ability.
Yeah.
Say it again, Kelly?
To validate you.
Right.
So
don't mix in a different brokerage into this email. Keep it all the same brokerage.
Got it.
Legally, you've got to keep it with the same brokerage.
Okay.
Because you're going to get into some licensing problems, and then you got an ethics complaint, which is going to be a total nightmare to deal with.
Okay.
So just keep it with your brokerage. I promise you, your brokerage, whoever you're with, I don't care who it's with, you're going to have enough souls to put on there to do an email on Friday. And even if you don't have enough, if you only have 2, remember the reason that you're doing this email campaign is to keep your name in front of them for them to see that you're not a part-time realtor, you're actively doing this, and you're selling a buttload of houses.
And you're like front of their mind when they do decide to do something.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
How do you get the emails address for the souls?
You're not emailing souls. You're going through your MLS and you're pulling up souls in your area. You're pulling up souls to send to your for sale by owner prospect.
Okay.
Did everybody understand?
Every 4 days is one campaign to the same bunch, and then every Fridays is another campaign to the same bunch?
Actually, not even a campaign. You just need a manual. I mean, if you can set up a campaign to do that, I think that's going to be hard because then you don't have current souls. Because if your campaign is something that you created a year ago, you're not showing sold. You're showing a house that sold a year ago.
Okay, I get it.
Remember, they have access to the internet. They can look it up and see when this house sold. If you send them an email of a house that sold last week, they can pull that up and see that it sold last week. Now, hold on one second. The reason that you're going to put recent activity, remember, your words are very important. You're going to put recent activity because if they see that somebody else was the listing agent, it doesn't show on Zillow or anywhere else who the buyer's agent was. That could be you, for all I know. You want to come across to these for sale by owner that you're active in real estate as a listing agent and a buyer's agent. Now, a lot of these for sale by owners think that because you list the house, that you'll be the one that will bring the buyer. Does anybody ever come across that with sellers? They just assume that you're going to bring the buyer. How do you deal with that?
Essentially, we are bringing the buyer because we're telling, without our advertising, they wouldn't be there. So I tell them that I work side by side with other agents to ensure that we have max exposure.
Here's what I tell for sale owners.
Doesn't matter.
Tell them my goal as a listing agent is to market your property to buyers and other realtors who have buyers. And I go on to tell them, chances are I will not bring the one who brings the buyer. So you need to understand that. I probably will not bring the buyer. It'll probably be another realtor involved. That's why it's so important to put this on MLS, because there's realtors out there that strictly work only with buyers and not with sellers. And I'm going to market to all the realtors because I don't know which ones are which. They need to understand that you're going after all the realtors. And that's why I specifically tell them it probably won't be me that brings a buyer. It'll be great because then I get both sides. In Texas, we can have dual agency. So I get both sides of the commission. Okay, any questions on the system?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
For the email campaign lasting 7 months, did you pick that time frame because you find that's how long the for sale by owners are typically on the market?
That's a funny question. Let me tell you why it's funny. Because when I first did this email campaign, I started in 2000. The market was crazy hot. I mean, crazy. We didn't even have time to get flyers to put on the outside, but the house was sold. And so then the market changed in 2000, and then 9/11 happened, and everything started slowing down big time, and houses were on the market like 7 to 12 months. So in order for me to keep up with the trend, I had to make my email campaign longer because the houses were staying on the market long. I just never changed it. So I'm using the same email campaign that I originally set up back in 2000. I've had to shorten it because my emails were too long when the cell phone hit, but there's really not a rhyme or reason why I did 7 months. I'm glad that I kept it 7 months because I've gotten listings of people who had their house on the market for 6 months and then ended up calling me, and I'm thinking, who in the world is this person? I don't even know who this is. So 7 months, I think if they get tired of your emails, they can easily unsubscribe and get off of it. So what's the harm in creating a 7-month email campaign? You could do 10 months if you want. How's your dog, Kelly? I'm messing with you. Okay, so now.
He was nudging my arm so I would pet him.
Any questions about, okay, we talked about getting the names. We talked about the system for emails. Now you got to do the brutal thing. This is what hurts the most. You got to call them. This is the part where most people fail. Who remembers my my explanation about the dating process? Remember that. Very important. You've got to date these people for a very long time. Some people you don't have to date very long. Some people you have to date for a long time. So here's what we're going to do. We've already gotten the email address. Nick, you look like a good guinea pig today because it looks like you're about to fall asleep over there. Nick, you're going to be a for sale by owner today.
Okay.
I'm going to call you. Okay. We've already had one phone call. I got your email address. It's time for phone call number 2. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Nick, Robert Russell.
How are you?
Remember me?
I do.
Okay. Hey, remember I talked to you last week about the seller's disclosure. I got it back from you. Thank you very much. Had a question about your house. Do you have a swimming pool?
I do not.
Perfect. I will get back with you, and I'll let you know what my buyers think. Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Now, if Nick would have said no, my answer is perfect. I'll get back with you. If he would have said yes, my answer still is perfect. I'll get back with you. Time for the next phone call. 1 week later.
These are 1 week apart, right?
1 week apart.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Nick, Robert Russell again. Hey, I wanted to let you know, I talked to my buyers about your house. They decided to move on to somebody else's house.
Okay.
Do you want to know why?
Sure. Tell me why.
They don't trust you.
They don't know me.
They don't trust you because, number one, your house, they've seen your sign for a long time, and they wonder if you're dead set on your price because you haven't used a realtor, and they don't know what you're trying to hide by not using a realtor.
Well, I'm not using a realtor because realtors don't do anything other than take commission.
Realtors don't do anything?
No.
Do you think all realtors are the same?
No. A lot of them are, though.
No, but do you think all of them are the same?
No.
Okay.
Does your buyer think all sellers are the same?
I don't know. I didn't ask him, but I can ask him that. It's a good question.
Yeah. I'd be interested to know.
Okay, well, I am not forgetting about you, even though these buyers don't want to do it. I've got other people, so I will get back with you for the next step.
Very good.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Stephanie,
Yes.
how do you think you would have handled that conversation? Nick doesn't appear very nice, does he?
No, I think he probably would be a little bit offended at that, but, or, you know, if you're the for sale owner, I think that might come off as a little offensive, but who cares?
Kiara,
Yes.
do you think a typical for sale by owner would be offended if I tell them they don't trust him?
No,
Why not?
because they don't care. All they want is their money.
Right. Okay.
But do you think they think other buyers think that way?
I don't really care what they think.
They don't care what the other buyers think.
Actually, if they did not think that before, they think that now. He planted the seed.
So now we move to the next phone call. Stephanie, you're going to call Nick on the next phone call.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say yet.
Well, you gotta call him. So we gotta start with ring ring. Let's start with that.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Nick, this is Stephanie. Do you remember me? Stephanie with ABC Real Estate?
I do.
Hey, do you, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what to do here.
Okay, so here's what we'll do next. What you're going to do next is, now that you have a new buyer, ask them. Let me just take over. Nick, ring, ring. Nick.
Hello.
Hey, Nick. Rob Russell again.
Yes, sir.
I forgot to ask you another question. You know, when you had talked about you think that all realtors are the same. How many realtors have you talked to that have brought you offers?
For my house right now?
Yeah.
Nobody has.
So how many calls are you getting every day?
From other realtors?
From anybody?
Well, I'm getting 1 or 2 calls a day from other realtors, and I'm getting some emails and some inquiries from buyers.
Okay. I am curious about one thing, the price of your house. How did you come up with the price on your house?
Zillow, baby.
Zillow. Awesome. So do you think it is overpriced or underpriced?
I think it's priced right.
So you don't think it's overpriced, and you don't think it's underpriced. You think it's priced right.
Correct.
Now, if you ask a for sale by owner that question, if you think your house, do you think your house is overpriced or underpriced? In my experience, most of them will tell you it's overpriced. They'll just come out right and say it, overpriced. Now, Nick has said it's priced right. So, Nick, if it's priced right, you've had it on the market for how long?
This is the 4th week.
And you've had how many offers?
I haven't had any offers.
What do you think the problem is?
Possibly marketing.
What kind of marketing are you doing?
Zillow, Craigslist, and I paid some company $500 to throw it on MLS.
So it is on MLS right now.
It is.
Okay. Now, bad news, people. This is where you got to stop. Unless you transition to this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, when you sell your house, you know where you're going to move to?
I do.
Where are you going to move to?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Do you have a realtor helping you buy a house when you move?
No, not yet. Not till I sell this one.
Okay. Whenever that happens, let me know, and I can help you find somebody.
Sounds good.
Now, if he's got it on MLS, even with a flat fee, you cannot go after him on a for sale by owner. Can't do it. That's where you got to stop. But you can go after him as a buyer's agent. Did you know that most of you are not calling for sell by owners because you're trying to list their house? Let me ask you a question. For sell by owners, when they sell a house, what are they probably going to do? Are they going to move to a tent? Are they going to move to a tent? Are they going to move to an apartment? Are they going to be homeless? Are they moving out of state? Are they moving to an apartment? Or are they going to buy a house? What do you
They're
think?
either relocating or they're going to buy something else.
Something. They're probably going to buy a house. You can help them. So don't stay away from for sale by owners because you can't go after their listing. You just need to go after it a different way. Because here's what could happen. And this is what we're going to talk about, is that when Nick went with a flat fee, if that flat fee turns into an expired, now you can look up expired flat fee brokers and get Nick's name, telephone number, and email address. Look it up, Kelly. Look it up, Tama. Go to your expired flat fee brokers. You're going to have in special remarks the seller's name, telephone number, and email address.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go after them day one because they tried it on their own. That didn't work. They listed with a realtor, paid $500. That didn't work. And now you can have this conversation with the expired. Well, Nick, now that you listed it on MLS, that didn't work. You didn't have any offers. What are you going to do now?
Not sure.
If you were sure, what would it be?
If I were sure, I would maybe take it off the market or lower the price.
Lower the price? So, Nick, here's the main question that I wanted to find out from you. You haven't listed a realtor because you think that all realtors are the same. But the bottom line is you haven't listed with a realtor because you don't want to pay commissions. Is that right?
That's right.
So which is more important to you? How much you pay in commissions or what you walk away with at closing?
What I walk away with at closing.
Are you sure about that?
Positive.
So if the commission were, say, 7, 10, or 20%, that wouldn't bother you if you could walk away with what you need to walk away with at closing.
Are you saying that you can guarantee me that I can walk away with what I want to walk away with at closing?
I can't guarantee you anything because my middle name is not God.
Well, you just said what's most important to me, paying commission or walking away with what I want.
That was my question to you. If I could show you how you could walk away with what you want to walk away with, would it really matter what the commission is?
It's not. But the problem is guaranteeing me that I'm going to walk away.
Anything. No realtor can. If they tell you they can't.
That's why I'm selling it by my for sale by owner. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I need to walk away with X amount of dollars.
Okay, that's
because maybe I'm upside down, and if I list with you, I'm going to have to pay you your 6, 7, 20%, and that's going to take away from what I can walk away with.
Hold on.
I might not be able to cover my mortgage, the loan.
Who's in control of the offer, me or you?
What's that?
Who's in control of the offer, accepting the offer, me or you?
I'm in control of accepting it.
Exactly. So you could get an offer that's too low after calculating the commission, say, oh, I'm not going to get what I need to walk away with, and you can turn it down. Is that true?
That's true.
So what's the harm if my goal is to get you what you can walk away with, what's the harm in using a realtor? Because you've seen after a month, we've talked every single week. Do you think I'm going to give up on you? If you think I'm this persistent with you, wait till you see what I am with another realtor who's thinking about bringing a buyer to you. You want to see persistent? It's going to be worse with them. So my question goes back, which is more important? What you walk away with at closing or what you pay in commissions?
what I walk away with at closing.
Perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a listing agreement. We're going to put it at 7%. And let me tell you why we're going to do 7. It's going to be 3% to me because I'm going to market your house to other realtors who have buyers. And we're going to offer 4% to the buyer's agents. Now, typically, most people do 6. I want to offer 4. Because if I'm a realtor and I'm showing 10 houses and all 9 of the 10 are paying 3 and I've got one that's paying 4, guess which one I'm going to show first?
4.
So I'm going to email this to you. It's going to be through DocuSign. When you get it, all you got to do is click, hit submit, and it'll come back to me. Any other questions?
I'll take a look at it.
All righty. Merry Christmas. Talk to you later. And that's how you handle sending a listing and getting him to understand, because Nick is actually more typical of what I hear when they're talking about what's more important, the commissions or what they walk away with. That's very typical of what I hear with for sale by owners. Now, Stephanie, do you think you could have handled that conversation the way me and Nick went at it with each other?
Yeah, now that I've heard the whole thing, I think so.
Okay, perfect. See, that's the mentality that you've got to have. You've got to be thick-skinned. You can't take it personal. And if you noticed, one of the questions I asked him, he said something like, I don't know, or I'm not sure. Do you remember my response when he said that?
Not right offhand.
I asked him,
I
I'm
do.
sure, what would it be?
If you do know, what would it be?
Right. If somebody says, I don't know, if a seller tells you, I don't know, your response, do this on your kids. How many of you have kids? Okay, Holly?
Yeah.
Sherry? Okay, ask your kid the question. If they say, I don't know, ask them this. If you did know, what would it be? There's about a 99% chance they will then answer that question. So you can do the same thing with for sale by owner. I don't know. Well, if you did know, what would it be? And they'll answer the question. What they're trying to do is get out of the question by saying, I don't know, thinking that I'm just going to blow it off because you don't know. No, I'm not. You know what the answer is. I've just got to get it out of you. If you did know, what would it be? Okay. Here's y'all's homework. This is going to be fun for you.
Mhm.
I want you to make a list of every objection you think you will hear from a for sale by owner. Make a list. Because in order to overcome calling people, you need to know all the objections that you're going to be hit with. The more you are aware of all the objections, the better you're going to be on the phone, because you've heard this before. You're not just, this isn't something new. And I think I've heard them all in 19 years of calling for sale by owners. That's why I'm not scared, because I already know what I'm going to say if I hear any stupid thing they say. So that's what we're going to do next week. We're going to come up with a list of all the excuses, and then we're going to talk about what to say when you hear that objection. It'll be fun. I'm not picking on you next week because you're too hard on me. You hurt my feelings. Holly,
Who's that?
you hurt my feelings. Yeah. I'm not calling you no more.
I love you, Robert.
You got a question?
Yeah, we went through on my notes. We went through the second 4-day communication, and then you started to say something about the third day of your third type of 4-day communication via the email.
Remember that your transition, even in the emails, are not to go after the listing.
Okay, so we kind of pick what we want the 3rd and the 4th and each week to be
Just keep in mind that you're still dating.
informational.
You're still dating.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then next week I actually will be flying back from Sedona, Arizona, because my son's getting married.
No, you can't
I will-
go. No.
I can't go.
No.
Even if my son's getting married.
Yes, you can go.
Yeah, okay, so I will be there on Tuesday, but I'll catch the recording when you've said it. Do you want me to submit some of my questions, objections to
That
you?
would be awesome. If you could
Okay,
send them
I will
to
do
me,
that.
and then
Robert,
get them
I'll have to do
before-
the same.
Oh my God. What the hell? Where you
I told
going?
you I had a hearing that day at 1 o'clock. Sorry.
The more of you guys that are out, the more he's going to pick on me.
Oh, sorry.
I'll be here. You can pick on me.
I'll be on an airplane flying home.
Big losers.
Hey, Robert,
Yes,
I'll be
ma'am.
here.
and when you're going through all of this, how you said that you didn't want to share your script because it would possibly pass each other. If you can just not solicit to Texas, then we wouldn't have this issue.
Okay. You know, I tell you what, if you'll do this, if you will go take the Florida exam for me, I'll get out of Texas completely.
You know, I have a client that's asked
Florida
me actually to
exam
do
is
that.
terrible.
You have a what?
I have a client that's actually asked me to go and get licensed in Texas or in Florida.
Yeah, I have a couple of them too. And Tennessee is
Let me tell you something.
reciprocating.
Here's Texas real estate. Here's Florida real estate. Big time difference. Oh my God. And the Florida realtors, lazy.
So Robert, I was told that Pennsylvania has a reciprocating license in Florida, so all I would have to do is join a board. Is that true? Do you know?
I have no idea.
I believe you'd also have to pass the state portion of the
That's
exam.
the state portion of the test.
Gotcha. Okay.
Federal portion, yeah.
I think you can make some money in Florida, especially like where I'm at, Panama City Beach. They're building 4 major hotels where I'm at, which means retail's coming. It's going to be huge where I'm at.
Mhm.
I just don't want to sell in Florida. I'd rather just deal in Texas, deal with it for sub owners, and not have to deal with all this stuff. Okay. Does everybody understand the homework?
Yep.
Yes? No? Okay.
Mhm.
Remember that this cell phone, this is mine, it works. Nobody ever calls me. It really upsets me.
I decided to give you last week off from me.
Oh, okay, thanks. But I'm going to wipe the dust off in case y'all want to call me. My phone number, 972-679-9029. Do not forget to do your homework. If you come and you haven't done your homework, it's verbal abuse time. So get ready. Kelly Owens.
Ring,
ring.
Okay, I'll send the recording today. It'll probably be in your email probably in a couple hours.
Okay.
Okay, y'all. Y'all have a great week. We'll talk to you
Take
later.
care.
Bye.
Bye now.